On September 6, 2018, at 10 p.m., Botham Jean was relaxing on his couch, eating vanilla ice cream and watching TV after a long day. He was likely enjoying his favorite show when he suddenly heard the door to his apartment open. An intruder entered with a gun pointed at Botham, ordering him to show his hands. Understandably scared for his life, Botham thought about hiding behind the couch. However, before he could move, the intruder fired, hitting him twice in the chest. The intruder immediately called 911 to report the murder.
Get up, man.
Dallas 911, this is Carla. Where's your emergency?
Hi, this is off-duty officer. I need EMS. I'm in number.
What's your address? Do you need police as well or just EMS?
Yes, I need both.
Okay, what's the address?
The intruder was Amber Geiger, an off-duty police officer who had just returned to her apartment complex after a 13-hour shift. Instead of going to her unit on the 3rd floor, she ended up on the 4th floor. Geiger later claimed that she mistakenly believed she was entering her own apartment, but it was actually the home of her 26-year-old neighbor, Botham Jean.
I'm at apartment number 1478. I'm in 1478. I'm an off-duty officer. I thought it was in my apartment, and I shot a guy thinking it was my apartment.
You shot someone?
Yes, I thought it was my apartment. Oh my God. I'm sorry.
Okay, and where are you at right now?
I'm in, what do you mean? I'm inside the apartment with him. Hey, come on.
What's your name?
I'm Amber Geiger. I need to get me, I'm in.
Okay, we have help on the way.
I know, but I'm going to lose my job. I thought it was my apartment.
Okay, and hold on.
The full 911 recording lasts over 5 minutes. After the first minute and a half, the call follows a consistent pattern. During the call, Amber Geiger says 20 times that she thought she was entering her own apartment. She mentions twice that she is very tired and apologizes to the man she shot. She also expresses multiple times that this incident will almost certainly cost her her job. When the police arrived at the building, they approached with guns drawn. It's unclear whether Amber Geiger attempted CPR or tried to stop the bleeding during this time. She was outside the apartment door when the officers reached the 4th floor. In Officer Michael Lee's body cam footage, Amber is briefly seen guiding the police to the correct apartment. On camera, she can be heard explaining that she is off duty, that she reported the shooting, and that she believed the apartment was hers. While the responding officers desperately tried to save Botham Jean's life, their efforts were ultimately in vain. Botham Jean was dead. Born on September 29, 1991 in St. Lucia, was a preacher, singer, a volunteer and leader. Known as Bo, he showed early dedication to his faith, asking to be baptized at age 8 and eventually becoming a preacher in his teens. A perfectionist, he even taught his mother's church choir to sing properly. Botham attended Harding University, where he joined the Christian a cappella group. After graduating in 2016, he became a song leader at Dallas West Church of Christ, where he continued to serve until his death. At first, this case might seem like a tragic accident caused by a tired police officer, but in reality it's much more than that. The audio and video recordings from that time revealed much about what Amber Geiger did, or more importantly, didn't do.
More than likely, she failed to render aid to Botham Jean. It's just plain and simple.
Hey, bud. Hey, bud. Come on.
She's not administering any CPR or anything like that when the officers arrived. There's no blood on her. She hadn't really touched him.
Hey, bud. Hey, bud. They're coming, bud. I'm sorry, man.
As a police officer, it's your duty to provide aid to anyone who is injured, whether the harm was caused by you or someone else. It's also your responsibility to protect the rights of the individuals you're dealing with. So how could a trained officer fail to fulfill these responsibilities when this shooting happened? A few days after the tragic killing of Botham Jean, an arrest warrant was finally issued for Amber. She was taken into custody and handed over to the Texas Rangers, where they questioned her about what happened that night.
Hey guys, I'm Dave Armstrong with the Texas Rangers, Ranger Laura Simmons. Before we get started, let me go ahead and read your mind rights, okay? You have the right to remain silent and not make any statement at all, and any statement you make may be used against you at your trial. Understand that? Any statement you make may be used as evidence against you in court. Hey, can I get your name and date of birth?
Amber Geiger.
Amber, what I'd like to do is just kind of start with how your day started yesterday. I guess on the 6th. Something like that. Okay. If you would just start for me.
I wake up every morning, usually at 5:30, take my dog for a walk, get done by 6 o'clock, start getting ready for work. 6:30 I'm usually done. So I get uniform on about 7:15ish. I go to work, I live about 15 minutes away as a drive. Get to work about 7:30. Usually then we do a lot of intel with our group.
Okay.
So we try to work on a lot of the slides. And so once we get once like our group and everybody gets once we get the intel, like stuff we're gonna work on for the day, we go out and we work on that. About 8ish we're done. We go back to the station, unload our stuff. About 8:15 to 8:20, I probably put my body camera up, and I went back to the back. We all filled out our overtime cards. I did my computer work and did my activity for the day. About that time, it's 8:45. So from there, I leave. I'm home in 15 minutes. And I use my key fob to get in the garage. It's about, I'll say about 9:10, 9:15. And I go up. It's a circle garage. I go up. I'm 100% sure I parked on the 3rd floor. I was like, so lucky. Like I got a front spot. Usually it's hard because I always carry my equipment. So it's like I didn't have to walk a long ways because that hallway I always walk down is so long. So I get out. I go down. I make left onto the hallway where my apartment's at. And I put the key fob in the door. And I don't even have to turn it. It's like the door is already cracked or something. So I push it. And I hear something moving around in the apartment. And so I automatically draw my gun thinking somebody's in my apartment that doesn't belong there. I'm the only one that lives there. No one does. And so when I open it, I pull my gun. I still have my bags and everything. I pull my gun out and I see a dark body, like a silhouette, just standing in the very back. It's dark inside. I can't see anything. And so I say, let me see your hands. The person keeps moving around. I can't see where his hands are going. And so at that point, I feel like you're going to kill me. Obviously, you're in my apartment. I feel like you don't belong there, so you see me, you're going to be spooked and be like, shit, I got caught. And so I feel like you're going to kill me, and I know you're going to kill me. And then at that point, he's moving, and he somehow ends up more towards the front of the or like the front portion of the counter, I guess, kind of closer from where he was. And to me, you're advancing, and I don't know what the hell you're like. You're going to kill me. And so I shoot 2 times.
To sum up, Amber left work at 9:33 p.m. after a 13-hour shift. On her way home, she was on a call with one of her partners. When she arrived at her apartment complex at 9:46 p.m., she was still on the call. She noticed that her apartment door was slightly open. The call ended at 9:55 p.m. Right after the call ended, Amber heard movement inside what she thought was her apartment and assumed someone had broken in. She immediately drew her gun and, seeing a figure in the darkness, fired 2 shots. On the surface, it seemed like she was defending herself from an intruder. However, there was one major problem. The apartment wasn't hers. It belonged to Botham Jean, who lived in the apartment directly above Amber's on the 4th floor. Amber had mistakenly walked up an extra floor, ignored the apartment number, and tragically killed an innocent young man in his own home.
Then I walk in, and I'm still at gunpoint. I still have my gun out. And it's at that point when I get to the middle, I guess, the countertop, I'm looking around, I'm like, okay, I was like, it's not my home. I still have my gun out. I walk up, I look at him, and I'm like, I holster up and I call 911. And I let them know whenever I call 911, I know at first said I need EMS. And they're like, what happened? I was like, I need police. I was like, pretty much I need everybody. They asked me, what apartment number are you in? I was on my knees trying to assist. I was trying to do CPR on him with one hand. I was on the phone with 911. So I walked back outside because I was like, I'm at 1478. I live at 1378. And so I couldn't even get my numbers, like the actual physical address. I've lived there less than 2 months. I just moved there. So, and then at that point, once the other officers arrive, I hear them in the hallway trying to find me. So I step outside, and the first officer I see, he rounds the corner on, I guess, on the east side of the building, whatever side they came on. And I tell him he's in there. And I was like, I let them know he's shot somewhere over in here. That's all I can remember. And then they took me away.
It's puzzling how a trained officer like Amber failed to recognize the difference between her own apartment and her neighbor's. To mistake Botham's apartment for hers, she had to overlook some obvious signs, like the bright red doormat outside the door, the apartment number, and the completely different furniture layout inside. Even Botham's mother, Amber Jean, expressed doubts, pointing out that her son's bachelor lifestyle would make his home noticeably different from Amber's. Despite immediately calling the authorities, Amber's actions couldn't save Botham's life. Investigators then questioned Amber about her day to see if any negative emotions might have influenced her actions.
So, what was your shift that day?
Usually work from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
8 a.m. to 4 p.m.?
During that, I know 2 days, Monday, I can't tell you if it was Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. I've gotten overtime almost every single day this week.
How many hours is overtime each day?
It varies.
Okay.
Last night was 5.5. The other Labor Day was 4 something. Because I was stuck at the hospital all night, and I still had to go to jail and type the report. And there was another day. I can't remember what day it was.
So, if you worked 5.5 hours overtime last night, then you probably got off around 9:30. Would that be about right?
I dropped whatever my time card. I can't even remember what my time card says.
But she said you got home between 9 and 10. Are you?
Yeah, I did an 8:45. I believe is when I did my time card.
Okay, all right.
And
How many days had you worked prior to that? Do you remember?
every day. I don't usually take off unless something's going on.
Yeah. So, do you remember when your last off day was before this past Saturday?
No. Like my physical days off are Saturdays, Sundays, but Sundays I work at the church, so technically I only have Saturdays and the only day.
Who's your partner?
Martin Rivera.
Martin Rivera, the officer on the call with Amber the night of the shooting, had been involved in a sexual relationship with her, even though he was married at the time. Prosecutors argued that Amber didn't confuse the apartments because she was tired, but because she was distracted by the call with her lover. They used this to suggest that she intended to kill, which significantly impacted her trial. They also found out that after shooting Botham, Amber still had the presence of mind to send a message to Martin. In fact, she continued sending sexual messages in the days following the shooting before her arrest. Additionally, several racist text messages were discovered. In one exchange with Martin, Amber joked about how black officers work differently from white officers. In a group chat, she made a joke about Martin Luther King Jr. parades, and in a conversation with a friend who had just adopted a German Shepherd, Amber admitted to being racist, agreeing when her friend joked that the dog was racist.
So, how many ways are there to get from where you park to your apartment? Or is there more than one
routes?
Yes, ma'am.
I always just go in that middle, just because it's easier. Like I always have my stuff it needs. It's just a shorter route to go straight down that hallway.
Okay.
Unless I get home late, and then of course you have to walk the heck around. But if you're home late, everybody's parked on the 5th floor. That's the top, so you know you're on the 5th floor.
Mhm.
That's the only obvious. You know you're on the 5th or you're on the 1st. Are the only different floors that look different. Every floor looks the same.
Okay. So you get home between 9:10 and 9:15. And you said you were carrying your gear with you. What is that?
In my left hand, I had my heavy vest, my lunchbox. How many lunchbox? And my duty bag.
Okay.
I walked down the hall, take my left, put my key in. The door, I don't even have to turn it. The door looks open. I hear somebody. I see a silhouette. It's far and back. I say, let me see your hand, let me see your hand. He doesn't do anything. Usually the typical person does this.
Mm-hmm.
They comply. And he did start aggressive. He started going, hey, hey. And to me, you're yelling at me like, oh, you're about to do something.
What made you fearful? I understand that,
In my home, there's an intruder.
Mm-hmm.
You're not listening to me. You're moving around. You're in the back towards the window, and then you advance towards like the front near the counter. So I still can't see your hands. You're not listening to me. You're gonna, and their reaction if you get caught. Oh hell, I'm getting out. You're the one that's gonna be out of luck, I guess. Like I would have been the one that would have died. And I thought he was gonna kill me. I really did.
So you get to the front door. When you open the door, did you visually see that the door wasn't latched?
I honestly just put it in. I didn't even, usually I'm like, oh, it's slightly ajar. You can tell it's open a little bit, it's slightly ajar. And so that's when I push in the key more, like the door opens a little bit and I'm like, someone's in here. I hear moving around. And so I automatically draw my weapon. And when I open the door fully, there's someone standing in the very back. And I just see a silhouette. It's big, so that's what I can get out. I couldn't tell you what the person was wearing. I couldn't.
Okay.
It was dark.
Okay.
I turned on the lights whenever I walk back up to the front because I can't see shit. I can't see where he's hid.
Okay.
So that's when I turned on the lights and then went back over there, sat on my knees, was on the phone with 911. And then I hear the officers coming. Felt like forever, but I told them I'm over here.
Although all the floors in the building might look similar, the apartments themselves are clearly different. As a police officer trained to handle robberies, Amber should have been familiar with the proper protocols when dealing with a possible intruder. However, she did not follow those protocols. According to police procedures, she should not have opened the door or entered the apartment upon hearing movement inside. Instead, she was supposed to call for backup and assess the situation. Even an average person would likely avoid entering a place where they believed an intruder might be, out of concern for their safety. Amber had several opportunities to make better choices that could have prevented this tragedy, but she made all the wrong ones. Botham was trapped inside while Amber blocked his only exit. He was unarmed while she pointed a gun at him, and he had no way to escape the situation while she did. Even if they both had been intruders, Amber would have been much safer than Botham, who was left vulnerable. An officer asked Amber about any past incidents to determine if she had a history of violence.
Have you ever been through an incident before, either on duty or off duty, where you felt like your life was in danger?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you describe one of those instances? Or
On duty? I think that I've been involved in that.
Amber mentioned an event from 2017 involving a suspect named Uvaldo Perez. During a physical altercation, Uvaldo managed to grab Amber's taser.
You know where a guy took my taser, got into a fight with him, did what I had to do. I shot him.
okay. Can you detail that for me a little bit?
Yeah, one of our deployment guys, Bacon, said there was a wanted individual, felony warrant. Get behind the car. Long story short, there's 3 people in there. The guy in the back seat, is the one that he ends up having Mandel. He's selling out the car. We're not there for him, we're there for the female. We never got a chance to identify her because he started moving around in the back seat with this box. So I asked him, I was like, hey, you're reaching for it. He said, no, it's not cool on the traffic stop. So, or on the market we were at. So my partner gets him out, he pats him down. As soon as he starts patting down, he just starts reaching to his pocket again. And so I was like, I still got two people. Okay, so we get into a scuffle with him.
Your reaction to him reaching into his pocket to try and go hands-on?
Yeah, we're just doing a pat down at this point now, because now our level of fear has gone up. You have something on you. You're making me uncomfortable. You're obviously up to something. I mean, his body language, him not complying with Martin's commands. I'm pulling out my taser. I'm tasing him. He takes my taser because we're up close fighting, and we get up on the ground. Taser is in his hands, and I shoot him.
Is that the only physical confrontation you've been in?
I've been in over years. I can't tell you verbatim each one.
Okay. What was the outcome of that confrontation? Did that guy live?
Yeah, he lived.
Okay.
Under Texas law, the use of deadly force is permitted for self-defense, and to protect herself and others, Amber shot Uvaldo. She wasn't charged with any wrongdoing, as the police department found her actions to be in line with her training.
Do you feel like there's anything you could have done differently to identify that was your apartment, or it wasn't before you got in?
No, because I'm comfortable going home. Like I'm doing it. Come home.
Okay. So is it fair to say it's just a routine that you're in?
Yeah, it's like brushing your teeth. You wake up, brush your teeth, go to the bathroom. So it's just routine.
If there's anything you could change about this, what would it be?
Can't change it. It was still in my apartment. I still felt like that guy was gonna kill me. I wish he was alive. I can't take it back.
Can you give me a moment?
Yeah, you might want to step out.
Sure.
Amber believed it was just another ordinary day. She was following her usual routine and was on a call with her lover, possibly too distracted to notice anything out of the ordinary. In September 2019, Amber went on trial. The case received extensive media coverage due to its high-profile nature and the significant issues it raised, including police conduct and racial bias. In Texas, there isn't a first-degree murder designation, but a murder conviction requires proof of malice. This meant the state needed to show that Amber didn't just act recklessly that night, but that she acted with the intent to kill. When the trial began, the prosecution focused on establishing this intent. Amber fired 2 shots at Botham, a tactic known in law enforcement as a double tap, where 2 shots are fired in quick succession. This method is intended to increase the chances of hitting and fatally wounding the target. The fatal bullet struck Botham in the heart, while the second shot missed and lodged in the apartment wall with an upward trajectory. State prosecutors argued that this second shot was intended as a headshot, which missed because Botham was likely moving, perhaps just starting to stand up from his seat on the couch.
This path is very revealing because it is consistent with the fact that Bo was getting up from his seated position and facing the door as Amber Geiger was coming into his home. The only other reasonable position that would explain that kind of a path is equally as innocuous for Bo. It would place him in a cowering position, hiding behind a 3-foot wall, a few feet in front of him that separated him from the shooter.
Amber's defense described the incident as a tragic accident where a series of innocent events went horribly wrong. They argued that justice wouldn't be served by making a quick judgment, as they believed the prosecution had done.
Amber Geiger firmly and reasonably believed that she was in her own apartment. Amber Geiger firmly and reasonably believed that she had confronted an intruder in her apartment. Amber Geiger firmly and reasonably believed that she had no choice, that she had no options but to use her gun to keep from dying.
A key question in the case was whether it was reasonable for Amber to believe she was entering her own apartment. In Texas, in 2019, there was a law known as the Castle Doctrine, which was hotly debated. This law allows homeowners to protect themselves from intruders. The law includes an exception for a mistake of fact, meaning a reasonable mistake made in a particular situation can be accepted as valid. In this case, if it could be shown that Amber genuinely believed she was in her own home, the law might allow her actions. However, accepting this would go against the true purpose of the law and could justify shooting an innocent person who was actually the homeowner. Was it reasonable for Amber to believe she was entering her own home?
Botham Jean wanted his apartment to be very noticeable, and he took steps to make sure that happened. In front of Botham's apartment is this extremely obvious bright red floor mat right in front of his door. I want to reiterate, Amber Geiger had no floor mat. She walked right up and stepped on top of this.
Protesters, the media, and the public all questioned how a trained police officer could miss so many signs that night. Amber's team argued that exhaustion from working long hours, including a 13-hour shift, likely caused her to act on autopilot. Prosecutors proposed a different theory. Phone records showed Amber was on the phone with her colleague and romantic partner, Martin Rivera, that night. Their texts suggested they might have been planning to meet up. Given this, prosecutors questioned how tired Amber could really have been, especially since she was sending flirtatious messages right up to the moment she reached the apartment door. 2 more texts were sent from Amber to Martin a few minutes after 10 p.m.
Should you be giving 100% of your attention to the person who's dying in front of you, if you can?
Yes, you should.
Should you be sending text messages?
No.
Both Amber and Martin deleted their texts, but investigators managed to recover them. Martin, who was married at the time, said neither of them wanted to remember those conversations. Besides revealing details about the affair that painted Amber in a negative light, a neighbor, Joshua Brown, who had just returned to his apartment moments after Amber entered Botham's, gave a different account of what happened.
Do you recall ever hearing someone say, "Hey, put your hands up," at a loud tone?
No, ma'am.
Although Joshua had only met Botham once, he broke down in tears while testifying in court. He shared that he heard Botham singing gospel music every morning from across the hall. 10 days after his testimony, Joshua was shot to death in the parking lot of his new apartment complex, where he had moved about 3 months after Botham's death. The timing of his murder sparked rumors that his role in the trial had made him a target, with some suggesting a conspiracy by local law enforcement. Police denied these accusations, noting that if a witness were to be silenced to prevent their testimony, it would likely happen before they testified, not after. In December, 3 men Joshua knew were indicted for his murder. Prosecutors believed they might have been trying to rob him. Prosecutors argued that Amber had decided to shoot to kill the apparent intruder as soon as she heard noises inside the apartment, even before she opened the door. When Amber took the stand, she claimed that she had called out to Botham multiple times, instructing him to raise his hands before firing her weapon, which contradicted Joshua's earlier account.
One of them heard you say that.
I can't tell you why.
Well, it's because you didn't say it.
The prosecution continued to challenge Amber on her inconsistent use of police training. They highlighted several aspects of her training leading up to the incident, including how she parked her truck, kept her firing hand free, and used the double tap technique. However, they pointed out that despite having a working police radio, she didn't use it, and her first aid kit remained untouched among her gear after the shooting.
Is there a reason why you didn't use this stuff right here, which is designed to control traumatic bleeding?
It never crossed my mind.
It didn't even cross your mind?
No, sir.
Even though he's bleeding in front of you?
No.
And this is inches from you?
It did not cross my mind.
It never crossed your mind to use this?
No, sir.
This is a first aid kit that's also included in there, right?
Yes, sir.
And you've got more of that exact same stuff in here. 10:03 p.m. and at 10:02 p.m., you sent messages, text messages to Mark Rivera.
Yes, I did.
Text messages that would have required you to have put the phone in a place where you can see it, and you used your fingers to write out the words, "I need you, hurry, ... right?
I don't remember how many hands I used.
But you texted Mr. Rivera using your hands.
Yes, I did.
And as you were doing that, you were unable to give Mr. Jean your full attention, the attention that he deserved.
Yes, I did.
And then you made the choice to do that a second time. Isn't that true?
Yes, sir.
All right, so from here to where you were at the door, that's when you decided to shoot twice.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's called a double tap, right?
Yes, sir.
Is that what you were intending?
Yes, sir.
That's your training, isn't it?
It's what we're trained to do.
It's training. Double tap maximizes the lethality of your shooting, doesn't it?
Yes, sir. Just did what I was trained to do.
Because you resort to training, right?
Yes, I do.
You rely on your training.
Yes, sir.
It aids you.
Yes, sir.
And in crisis, you resort to your training.
Yes, sir.
You shot at Mr. Jean. You knew you were using deadly force against him.
Yes.
You know what a bullet can do, don't you?
Yes, I do.
And when you shot at him twice, you intended to kill him.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Closing arguments were closely followed across the nation as ongoing protests and demonstrations fueled media excitement and speculation about the verdict. The jury deliberated for about 5 hours. They rejected both the lesser charge of manslaughter and Amber's claim of self-defense. Instead, they found her guilty of murder with malice, as she had admitted on the stand that she intended to kill. Within 5 minutes of starting their deliberations, the jury announced that they had voted to convict Amber of murder. The jury believed the prosecution's claim that Amber had decided to fire her weapon with the intent to kill before she was fully through the door. The prosecution requested a 28-year sentence for Amber. The jurors felt that this was like an eye-for-an-eye approach. However, based on their understanding of Botham, they didn't think that was what he would have wanted. They believed that if Botham had survived the shooting, he would have forgiven Amber. The jurors agreed to sentence Amber Geiger to 10 years, which included some time already served.
I forgive you, and I know if you go to God and ask Him, He will forgive you.
After the jurors left the courtroom, Botham's brother stepped down from the witness stand and embraced Amber Geiger in an act of forgiveness. The jury later said that witnessing this act of compassion validated their decision. That concludes the heartbreaking story of Botham Jean and the conviction of Amber Geiger. Thank you for joining us. Please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts. Do you think the conviction was fair?